Hello and welcome to the Pages of Ink podcast, the podcast where we explore all things books, authors, stories, and the wonderful world of reading. I'm your host, Angelica Garcia. In today's episode, I'm diving into the pages that had me up all night, double-checking locked doors, and had me fall in love with eerie small towns. From ghost stories like the Sundown Motel to fast-paced thrillers like No Exit, I am sharing my favorite mystery, horror, and thriller reads, and also a handful of audiobooks that completely blew me away. Buckle up, readers, because today's episode is filled with thrills, chills, and 5-star reads. Alright, let's start with one of my all-time favorite books, The Sundown Motel. No hesitation, 5 out of 5 stars for me. Like I said, it's one of my all-time favorites and may even be my all-time favorite. I've read this, 5-6 years ago, and it still stays at number 1, sometimes jumps from number 1 to number 2 on my list, but it's wonderful. I love the way Simone St, the author, weaves the supernatural into a mystery story so seamlessly. You get the eerie, ghostly undertone without losing the crime thriller heart of her stories. Let's read the little book description in the back of this book because I love it. Well, inside cover. But, okay. Upstate New York, 1982. Viv Delaney wants to move to New York City, and to help pay for it, she takes a job as the night clerk at the Sundown Motel in Fell, New York. But something isn't right at the motel. Something scary and haunting. Cut to 2017, Carly Kirk has never been able to let go of the story of her Aunt Viv, who mysteriously disappeared from the Sundown Motel before she was born. Carly decides to move to Fell and visit the motel, where she quickly learns that nothing has changed since 1982. And soon, she finds herself ensnared in the same mysteries that claimed her aunt. I love it. I love it so much. I'm really close with my aunt, so I wonder if that adds to my love for this book, but it was so darn good. If you like cold cases, true crime, dual point of views, this one is definitely for you. And one of her most recent books, Murder Road, which is right here, is also in my top 10 favorite books. It has the same mix of mystery and ghost story in one. I'm not the biggest fan of ghost stories, but I will read any book that Simone St. puts out because she just does it in such a way that I love. Now, let's jump into No Exit. Talk about adrenaline. This book, I wish, I think about this almost every time I read a book that I love. I wish I could rewind time and experience it for the first time over and over and over again, because this is definitely one of the books that would be on that list to experience for the first time again. It's intense, fast-paced, won't let you breathe type of thriller. The main character, she gets trapped in a snowstorm at a rest stop. And as she goes outside trying to find cell reception, she notices a little girl locked in a white van outside. So she knows one of the 5 individuals in the rest stop with her is also a kidnapper. From basically page 5, it's pure chaos, but in the best way possible. I've read a number of other books by this author, Taylor Adams, I want to say 3 or 4 in total, and none of them, they're all great. They're all wonderful, fun reads, but none of them have come close to the book No Exit. And the Hulu movie that they based off this book, it was very disappointing. It felt like a PG version of this novel, which says something because the movie is incredibly dark, but the book is much, much darker. Now, let's talk about Minnesota authors. So, Allen Eskens and Jess Lourey are my probably top 2. It's so hard because such a bunch of other authors, Minnesota authors, come to mind. But I do 110% enjoy every book I've read by both of these authors. There's something about living in Minnesota and reading a Minnesota set mystery that just makes it extra eerie, especially when I am familiar and have been and have family living in the places that these books are set in. 5 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, this is going to be a video filled with 5 out of 5 star reads, but there will be a sprinkle of 4 out of 5 star too. In The Life We Bury, in all his books, but Allen Eskens does a wonderful job in balancing suspense and emotion. This one isn't just a mystery, it's about morality, redemption, healing, the truth coming to light. It's a lot to unpack, even in the continuing series. So The Life We Bury is book 1 of the Joe Talbert series. I love this series. It is so good as a whole. Each book just gets better and better and better, and this one was amazing. So if this was the first book and it keeps getting better, that says a lot. So The Quarry Girls by Jess Lourey. It's set in a small Minnesota town in the late 1970s and follows a group of teenage girls during the summer that some of their friends start to mysteriously disappear. This book is inspired by real life events, which makes it that much more haunting and sinister feeling. The author's note is in the beginning of the book, and I highly recommend reading that before you start the book. It will completely change the story for you, I think, with the evidence and facts that she compiled. Yeah, it's very good. I don't want to give away spoilers. Maybe one day I'll do a spoiler episode where I do a complete deep dive into the books, but as of now, I want these episodes to be as spoiler free as possible. In this book, Jess Lourey really captures the innocence of growing up mixed with the impending sense of something horrible is about to happen. Alrighty, switching gears from books to the world of comics. If you know me, you know I absolutely love comics, but most specifically Marvel comics. I'm a big Marvel lover. My love for Marvel developed as a little girl with comics. But I thought, tis the spooky season, let's talk about Marvel Zombies, and not the Disney Plus Marvel Zombies. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoy most Marvel projects, but it wasn't like these comics. These comics were released in 2005, and I really, really do wish that Marvel Zombies on Disney Plus followed this story rather than a continuation of the What If episode. If you're a Marvel fan who loves horror, these are for you. Made by the same guy who made The Walking Dead, so you know the zombies in here are going to be terrifying and amazing. It's an alternate reality where all of your favorite heroes, from the Avengers to X-Men to the Defenders, turn into flesh-eating zombies. The old school drawings are amazing. I'll put in clips here for you to see. I love these comics so darn much. It's a gory, twistedly funny, dark take on what happens when superpowers meet mortal decay. Like Spider-Man. He's a zombie, but yet still has all of his human emotions. How does he navigate his human emotions with his insane hunger? Or like Tony Stark, what happens when his tech can't save him? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's something I read not just every October, but every few months, because it is such a unique, fun take on my favorite characters. I love Marvel Zombies so much. Okay, let's move on to YA horror. Krystal Sutherland, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her last name. I love, love, love this book, House of Hollow. I remember the cover is what captured me, and I looked at the description and absolutely fell in love. It's one of my favorite books for sure. The author has such a unique voice in YA and dark fantasy. Her books leave you feeling very unsettled, very uneasy. They're very, very creepy and dark, but in the best way possible, if that makes sense. Let me read you this little description. Iris Hollow and her two older sisters are unquestionably strange. As children, they disappeared on a Scottish city street only to return 1 month later with no memory of what happened to them or where they'd been. More troubling, their appearance began to change. Their blue eyes now black, their dark hair now white, and as they grow older, odd, eerie occurrences seem to follow in their wake. People find them disturbingly intoxicating, unbearably beautiful, and inexplicably dangerous. Now, 17-year-old Iris is doing all she can to fit in and graduate high school on time, something her two famous, glamorous, globe-trotting older sisters, Gray and Vivi, never managed to do. But when Gray goes missing, leaving behind bizarre clues as to where her whereabouts are, Iris and Viv are left to find her. But they aren't the only ones looking. As they brush against the supernatural, Iris quickly realizes that the story she's been told about their past is unraveling, and the world that returned them, seemingly unharmed 10 years ago, might just be calling them back again. Okay, another really fun one is this, The Silent Patient. This is the only book I've read by this author, and I loved it. I even flagged a couple pages, probably just a bar of a line that I loved. Okay. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Like I said, I usually only flag mic drop lines. But this was a wonderfully... Oh gosh, how do I explain this book without spoilers? This book gave me whiplash. I was reading, got to the end, and I'm like, wait, what? And sometimes that's a horrible reaction to have with books, at least for me. But in this case, it was amazing. Like I said, whiplash, but in a good way. I can reread this book, whether now or as soon as I finished it, I could have started again. And it would have been a completely different book with the knowledge you have once reading through it one time. It was so good. I think about this one often. I think about all these books, to be honest, a lot. But this comes into my mind a little too often. I think I just need to reread it because it was crazy, absolutely crazy. Like I said, reading it for a second time, it'll feel like a completely different book, but it will still be enjoyable. Oh. All right, let's talk about audiobooks, because when they're done well, they will pull you into the story in such a cinematic way. The next few audiobooks are all going to be 5-star listens. The first one is First Lie Wins. This one is super fast-paced, clever, full of twists. It's about a woman who's living under a false identity who gets caught in a very dangerous game of lies. Gone Tonight explores or is about a mother and daughter relationship that is filled with lies, deceit, and secrets. It took me a little bit to get into this audiobook, actually. I remember I started it, couldn't get into it, and then listened to like 20 other audiobooks before I went back to give it a second chance. And I am so glad I did, because it became a 5 out of 5-star listen. Very, very good. As soon as I thought I knew what was happening, the author proved me so wrong. But all the twists were like, they weren't coming from left field. They all made sense, but still like threw me for a loop. I remember like having to pause the book and pace around the apartment quite a few times because I'm like, what's happening? See, I love doing these podcasts because I'm talking about some of my favorite things in the whole wide world, books, and I get to relive it just a little bit. Like reading them while I discuss. I remember certain things from the books, all the emotions they gave me. Like, definitely flagged quite a few mic drop moments in here too. Knight's Edge is a story about vampires and motherhood, but not in the way you may expect. It was very chilling, very emotional. I remember, because it was, I think, last year that I listened to this one. And it was around this time of year. I love filling October with a bunch of spooky books or spooky audiobooks or comics, all that good stuff. But I remember listening to it late one night. I got scared. I turned on all my lights in the apartment, and it's just vampires. Like, vampires, there's much scarier things out there, right? It was very, very, very good. I still have yet to listen to the sequel, but I want to. I want to get my hand on the physical copy of the series, but I loved the narrator. All the audiobooks that I've talked about and will continue to do so in the episode, the reason why I like them so much, one of the many reasons, is because of the narrators. I think a lot of people would agree, but the narrator can definitely make or break an audiobook for me. I'd rather physically hold the book and read it to myself, but I don't have enough time to read all the books I want. So, in order to get 100 books read this year, which I won't even come close to, but I've been listening to more audiobooks. The next one we're talking about is Looking Glass Sound. I have recommended this, all the books we've talked about so far, but particularly this one to, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 people in the past few months. This book I listened to maybe 2 years ago now, 1.5 years ago. Looking Glass Sound is incredibly, incredibly atmospheric and weird. But, again, I've said it so much, in the best way possible. It's a book within a book within a book. You have unreliable narrators, a gothic seaside setting. Oh, man. Yeah, it's really good. It's so good. Again, I listened to it, but I also have the physical copy at home that I read because it was just that good of a book. It was insane. It was very easy to follow, like, the story. But there's times, and everyone I've talked to who took my recommendation and read or listened to it, they agree. You're reading and you're understanding what you're reading, but it's like, am I the crazy one? Am I going crazy? Or is the character losing it? Are we losing it together? It was such a fun read, such a fun listen. Probably, I don't know, if you're going to pick or choose one of the books, do Looking Glass Sound, especially during the month of October. That would be the one I would recommend out of everything we've discussed today. Some other honorable mention, 4 out of 5 star audiobooks that I absolutely love are All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, and Rouge by Mona Awad, I believe. I'll put the covers right around here, but I love all those stories. All the Sinners Bleed and Listen for the Lie are definitely more mystery thriller, while Rouge is probably more horror. I did have to stop Rouge a couple times. Like, I felt it was scaring me. It was scaring and startling my spirit a little too much, but I did finish it and I enjoyed it. Those were just a few of the spooky books that stuck with me long after I turned the last page. If you read anything that we talked about today here on the podcast, leave a comment. Send me a message on Instagram. I would love to know what you thought about these books. Did you hate them? Did you love them? What's your take? Do you have any recommendations for me to celebrate Spooktober? Please send them my way. I love, love, love reading or listening to other people's recommendations because then we get to talk about the book. Well, I think our time together for today's episode is coming to an end. If you liked today's episode, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Pages of Ink channel, and turn on that little bell to be notified every time I post a new video. Starting this month, I'm going to try to post 2 videos a month, 2 podcast episodes a month. I'm on track with that as of now, so hopefully I can stay to that schedule. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you all get to cozy up on the couch with a blanket and your favorite book on this fall day. Have a great one. And remember, every book has a second chance to inspire. Bye, guys.